I have some new palettes from Stila to show you guys today. I had to drive over to the neighbor's house and get them. I was like waiting all day for them, and so I checked my UPS and said delivered to the front door, and I'm like, there's no package on my front door. So ran up to the neighbors. They delivered it to the neighbor's house. How convenient. Anyway, there are 4 new palettes that Stila has released. I was looking all over the internet for them because I had seen on a blog somewhere that they were coming out, and I couldn't find them. And somebody on YouTube in the comments or somewhere had mentioned that these were up on Ulta. So naturally, I jumped on Ulta and ordered them ASAP Rocky. So there are 4 total. These are what the box packaging looks like on all of them. They're spirit, mind, body, and soul. And inside of each box there's a little look card like so that has the looks, and then the a little shadow guide on there for pertaining to each palette. And then as far as the palettes are concerned, they're really fingerprint prone but really shiny plastic packaging. The color of each palette is a metal shade, so there's rose gold, copper, silver, and regular gold as far as the packaging goes. Now see, so here's gold and here's, I don't know if this is copper or rose gold because the copper and the rose gold are very, very similar. So, and then the inside C's in the middle like that are different color depending on which palette is which, but I'm probably going to get them mixed up anyway. So the palette that I used today is called the Mind palette. If you're interested in the look and seeing, you know, a first impression and how these applied and stuff like that, you can hang tight towards the end of the video and it'll be there for you. But this palette here is an all matte palette. So I thought that out of the 4, I would choose this one to do like the demo on and stuff, because I know that a lot of people really love their matte neutral eyeshadows. So I thought this might be the one that people are interested in the most, so I thought I would do that. On the back of the palette you do have the what the name of it is, and then also the shadows that are in there. And then inside there is a plastic sheet on here which just has a quote. Each palette has a different quote. This one's from Albert Einstein, and there's a pretty good significant mirror inside of there as well. So these palettes were $49 on the Ulta website. I did have a 20% off Ulta coupon, which came in very handy. Which I think 49 bucks for a Stila palette, I think that's kind of expensive. I don't think of Stila as real high-end. I think they're kind of middle of the road type of a brand, and 49 pushing 50 bucks is, I thought, quite a lot. Granted, I do like that they upgraded the packaging to a plastic instead of their old stuff, which was cardboard. I had to go braid my hair. It's like roasting. This is like wearing a blanket. So anyway, the palette comes with 0.51 ounces of product, which averages out to be just over 0.04 ounces per eyeshadow, which it's not a whole lot of product, but it's not like 0.02 ounce either. So it's middle of the road as far as size wise per shadow goes. Now the palette that I used today is the Mind palette, and it's an all matte neutral palette. With, you know, you got a little bit of purples and you got some warm and some cool. It's as far as colors, matte neutrals, it's got some versatility to it, which is really nice. I found that when I was using the shadows, I had to keep dipping my brush into the product to really get more product to get it on the eye, but they built up nicely, and with that, the texture of them is really dry. Like, they're not very buttery shadows at all. So when I had first like swatched them and stuff, I thought for sure that I was going to get patchiness and have heck blending on my dry lids, which that wasn't the case. They actually blended out pretty nice, but I did have to keep going into the pan to pick up product. And there wasn't very much fallout either, which I also found was kind of weird for such a dry texture, because they are pressed pretty hard into the pan, but they're dry feeling. I don't know, borderline chalky. And they did pick up, or, you know, putting my brush in there, I really had to stuff it in there to get product out of it. But they still performed, which is why I really like to use a palette instead of just go by swatches, because you never can tell. You can have some of the best swatching eyeshadows perform not so great on the eye, like Urban Decay's Pulp Fiction palette. I wore that 2 days ago, and the shadows were really nice and buttery and pigmented and everything, but I did end up having heck blending out because I was getting patchiness up through the top of the crease, which is something I have problems with matte shadows and my dry lids, and I thought I was going to have that with this, and I didn't. They blended out pretty darn nice. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch these on the tip of my fingers because I want to swatch all of them for you guys, and then compare this to one of the older Stila palettes as well. So I'm just going to show you on my fingertips here, kind of like that, so you guys can get an idea of the pigmentation. The pigmentation is there, but you do have to kind of, you know, go like this to the shadow because they're like drier and stiffer feeling. So those guys are doing something with the bobcat outside, so sorry about the noise, but I'm going to go ahead and start out with these top 4 dark ones, which the black one, I didn't use the black one, but that one feels a little bit more buttery than these 3 right here, but that is the 4 right there. And then here are the next 4 in that middle row there. And then the last ones are, you guys are really probably going to have a hard time seeing these because they are all very light shades that are probably not going to show up on my skin tone. But these ones here, again, they're really dry in texture. I'm surprised with the way that they feel and how they swatch and stuff that I was able to get them to perform quite nicely. Granted, I did have to keep going back into the palette and picking up product, but there are those lighter ones right there. You guys are never going to be able to see this. Oh, a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the Stila In the Know eyeshadow palette because the shades are kind of similar. Right, so here's the In the Know palette, and here's the newer Mind, Eyes Are the Window Mind palette right over here. But the In the Know palette, this one right here, these shades are a lot more silky and smooth than the newer palette, the In the Know palette. So I was really expecting some smooth buttery textures because that's how a lot of my Stila shadows are. They have a really creamy buttery texture to them, and these are drier and stiffer, but they blended really nice. So now I'll just go ahead and show you the other 3 palettes that I picked up and give you guys some swatches so you guys can at least see what they look like. This one here is copper rose gold, not sure. The copper and the rose gold look pretty similar, and it's got some silver C's on it. But this one here is called the Spirit palette. And this one here has got a mixture of mattes and shimmers. Everything in here has got a shimmer or a sheen to it except for this shade and this shade, which I think are some nice shades to be matte. But again, a really nice, pretty versatile palette there. So let me go ahead and swatch these for you guys. Here is the second row. This thing always likes to focus on my face. There is those ones. And then the last lighter shades here. Again, they're not feeling the most silky either, but I think that because there's so much shimmer, I think they'll perform nice. So there are the lighter shades. This next palette I'm going to show you guys is in the gold, shiny gold packaging, and it is called Soul. And in this palette there's a mixture of mattes and shimmers, but you have more mattes in this one than the last one I showed you guys, which is called Spirit. Yeah, Spirit only had 2 mattes. This one has got 1, 2, 3. This one has got 4 mattes in it, which are, I will show you here. The matte shades in this palette are these bottom 3 right here, and then this guy right there are all matte shades. The black looks like almost a satin matte type of shade right there. So go ahead and swatch these ones. Ooh, these ones actually feel kind of nice. These 4 here so far. So there's the darker shades right there. Nice. I'll do this middle row here. Right there. And they look like that. Nice again. And then this very last row here. Again, this is the Soul palette. Nice. Nice. Those are some pretty light shades. Hopefully you guys can see them there. And then this last palette is either rose gold or copper again. I'm not sure because they're so similar, but it is the body, either the Windows to the Soul Body palette. And this is the one that I was like, oh, because I love me some purple eyeshadow. But it is a pretty one as well. There are one matte shade. It appears that there's only one matte shade, which would be this guy right here. And then this one here kind of looks, these two both actually look like they have some sparkles in them, but they look like they might end up being matte on the eye. So let me go ahead and swatch these up close. I do have the older Stila palettes in the cardboard, but I don't find, the first two that I showed you were the most similar. These other ones are kind of a mishmash, so I didn't think that it would be just right to compare them side by side because they're all kind of different. So let me show you this one. I'll go ahead and swatch these ones. Again, the textures are very inconsistent. Like, look at this matte shade right there. Is that one the matte? Yeah, this is the matte one. See how that comes off? Like, I don't know. They're really inconsistent textures. Yeah, let me try to get some more of that sucker. Ugh. Right there. Ugh, that's not looking so hot. And then I'll do this middle row. I like to do live swatches so you guys can really see how they're coming off on the fingers, you know, or live. Oh, I don't know. You see those? And then this last row here, which this is a really dry one right there. Ugh. You guys see those? I want you to see the textures of those. This purple one is really lacking the pigmentation as far as swatching is concerned. Right there. Let's do... See? Oh, that light purple is really lacking on the swatching. Hopefully swatching those was helpful. The textures on all the palettes are very inconsistent. I found that as far as swatching is concerned, that this palette here called Soul, this one here swatched the nicest, I thought, out of the four. But granted, again, I'm one who I don't base, you know, performance on the swatches, because I had this YSL palette. I know I mentioned this before, but it swatched so bad that I thought I was going to send it back like no matter what, and it actually performed really nice on the eyes. So since the textures are so different, like there are a couple buttery ones in the bunch, there's some that are really dry, some that are lacking pigmentation. They're kind of all over the place, I feel like, but I've worked with palettes like that in the past where used together they work out nicely. And now the all matte palette that I used today, I thought it was going to be a mess upon when I first started. And like when I had swatched it initially and stuff, I thought these are dry and they're semi-chalky, but they perform nice. I mean, the look came out really nice. So I think they're kind of middle iffy based off of straight first impressions and swatching the three and using the one. I don't think that they're run out and get palettes. That matte palette does have a nice mixture of shades and it did perform nicely. The packaging is cute. It's got cools, warms, and it's got some plums in there as well, which makes it nice and versatile. But I was using a Visart matte palette a couple days ago, and those matte shades, like every matte eyeshadow palette or every matte eyeshadow I ever get probably in the future is going to have to live up to those because they're amazing. So I kind of just think that these are kind of middle of the road, but they're pretty, and I'm a palette junkie, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy them. So anyway, if you're interested in the look that's on my eyes and seeing that matte shadow palette performance, stuff like that, you can hang tight and we'll get into it right now. So on a Goss number 18 brush, I'm going to go ahead and dip into this shade right here, which is called Brilliance. I'm just going to pick up some of that there, tap off the excess because it's kind of kicking up a bit of powder. I'm going to go ahead and pack that all over the lid. Now on a Goss number 3 brush, I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is called Genius. And I'm just going to pick this up here, and I'm going to put this underneath the brow. Just a really neutral, with a slight hint of peach. It looks really like my skin tone, so you guys aren't going to be able to see that very well. I'm going to put that down, and then I'm going to pick up just a hint of this one right here, which is called Imagination, on the tip of that, and put that right underneath the brow to brighten it up a little bit, since that other shade was really close to my skin tone. Now on a Hakuhodo blending brush, I'm going to pick up this shade right here, which is called Thinker. I'm just going to pick up some of that on the tip of this brush here. And it's a pretty dark shade. I'm going to tap off the excess. I'm going to go right into the crease with this. Pick up a bit more. Pick up a little bit more. Not the most buttery of eyeshadows, that's for sure. Now on a skinny Hakuhodo brush, I'm going to pick up that same deep plum shade, and I'm going to sharpen up the outer corner of my eye. Now on a Goss number 4 brush, I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is called Observation. I'm going to pick up some of that. Tap it off, and I'm going to blend out that deep purple shade with that, starting in the front here. Pick up a bit more. I feel like I'm really going back into this palette and dipping my brush in to get a product, because they're kind of a dry texture, to be honest, so far anyway. Loaded up my brush again there. I did prime my eyes with the Tarte CC primer. I think I forgot to say that, which I've really been enjoying that primer too. I'm just really having to go pick up more product with my brush in the pan here. And blend, blend, blend here. More product. On another Hakuhodo blending brush, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this shade right here, which is called Understanding. And I'm going to blend out that top part here even further. I don't have any Stila lipstick, so I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with the Clinique Sky Violet lip liner and bring it in slightly. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill in my lips with Maybelline's Color Sensational Lipstick in 960 Must Have Mauve, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill in my whole lips with this. So there is the overall finished look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later.